Hello, welcome to Human Tech, a podcast about the intersection between humans and technology. My name is Guthrie. I'm here with Susan. Hello. Susan.
Hello, Guthrie.
And today's topic is about social networks, sort of maybe the future of social networking. Do you remember when the internet was Internet 1.0?
Of course I do. I remember when there was no internet, so yeah, I remember 1.0.
So it wasn't really called Web 1.0, but how many years ago was that?
Well, now,
Was that like 2 years ago or 10 years ago or something?
I have a question.
There was a movement where there's like Web 2.0, but what all Web 2.0 basically meant was like social networking. That's what Web 2.0 stood for.
Really? Wow. I kind of vaguely remember that.
You don't remember that?
I vaguely do, but it's been a long time. You know what I remember is when I first used the internet before there were websites, and we would use it to do bulletin boards. You don't remember bulletin boards. I think you're too young for bulletin boards.
No, I've been on lots of bulletin boards.
Oh, well, I remember when they first came out, and that's what we went online for. So we could send messages. It's very exciting. But, yeah, do I remember that Web 2.0 was about social networking? No, I think I forgot that. Really? When did
Yes.
When did like this
Web 2.0, also
wait a minute.
known
Okay,
as participative or participatory social web.
Really?
The term was invented by Darcy DiNucci in 1999, and later popularized by these are your people, Tim O'Reilly and Dale Dougherty in the O'Reilly Media Web 2.0 conference in 2004.
I vaguely remember that. So what was the first, okay, first of all, what do you mean by social network?
Vaguely remember. Well, so that's part of the fun, right?
And which one was like the first one?
I'm not, okay.
This is not what you wanted to talk about when you said you wanted to talk about the future of social networking.
Well, so like almost anything can be used as a social network, and you talk about how people, people use any technology to be insanely social all the time.
Yes.
I mean, in a lot of ways, podcasting can be social. Blogging can be social. I mean, anything where there's a comment section.
We like to connect with other people.
But traditionally, social networking has been a standalone service whose like sole purpose is to subscribe to other people and then, see what they have to say, and then you say things back in some
LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook.
I think everyone knows what a social network is.
Well, I just wanted to make sure
we could really get okay. So here's a fun game we'll play.
What?
All right. What I need you to do
is
I need you to list the largest social networking services. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
what?
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
We do
17,
not
18, 20.
have that many.
Okay, I'm looking at the top 22 social networking services as of April 2019, as published by Statista.
There are that many?
Well, look, there are a lot. I should let you know, some of these are like.
No, just don't. You don't have to.
Okay, I'll just say, it's any program or network that allows users to sort of communicate broadly with other specific people or follow some sort
entities,
of feed,
right?
or business entities.
Okay.
So it's a pretty broad.
I'm not going to get all 22, but you want me to say what I think?
I'm just curious to see if you can get any, and these are by active users, not by passive users.
Okay, WeChat.
Yes. Look at you, like being like, you're hip with the times. You want any guess on where WeChat is?
Number 1.
It's number 5. with a little over 1 billion active users.
I figured it was up there. All right.
Oh, you're so smart.
All right, I'm going to name a bunch of others that are very obvious. WhatsApp, Instagram.
Yes. WhatsApp is number 3 with 1.5 billion.
Really?
Instagram,
WhatsApp?
WhatsApp is enormous. WhatsApp is used, there's a reason that... Do you know who owns WhatsApp?
Facebook?
Yeah, they bought them for like a lot of billion, like 20
You know, that
billion.
silence was me thinking, not me looking it up.
I know. So yeah, WhatsApp very heavily used as the default sort of communication. Because in a lot of countries, you don't want to get charged for texts.
Right.
So you use a internet-based messaging system, and that was WhatsApp in, I believe, a lot of Europe, parts of Africa, a lot of South and Central America. So there are large swaths of the world where everyone uses WhatsApp.
All right, so then I put Instagram on the list.
Yep, that's 1 billion.
What number?
That's number
Where is that at?
6.
All right, and then we've got Facebook, which I don't know where they are anymore. Number
obviously.
1, really?
2.3 billion. Yeah, Facebook is.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay,
Facebook
what about
everyone's on Facebook?
Twitter?
Now, one thing you're not going to get that I'll just tell you is also Facebook Messenger, which is technically apparently a separate service because it is a separate app. And so that's number 4 at 1.3 billion. You wouldn't have guessed it.
You wouldn't think of that.
So now, you figured. So you have number 1, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. So you've done really well.
I'm doing pretty good.
You've done really, really well.
Thank you.
You said Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Twitter's on there at about spot number 11, 330 million users.
Okay, LinkedIn's on there somewhere.
Yeah, they're like 15th at 303 million users. Mm-hmm.
Oh, only 303 million.
Yeah, I know. Population of America.
Now, does this include things like TikTok?
Yes.
Okay.
TikTok is a lot like Instagram, in which you can post content. But you can also follow, subscribe to people, but also you can send messages and comment on stuff. So there is a lot of, yes.
Where is that?
TikTok is spot number 9 at 500 million.
Higher. All right. Does this mean that YouTube is on this list?
Yeah. Wow. You are really good. Number 2 at about 2 billion users.
Yeah. I don't know that I would have defined it that way, but I see why it is.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Right. You follow people. There's comments. Yeah, respond to stuff. Okay.
Now we're starting to get down there. Oh, MySpace.
Unfortunately, not anymore.
I'm kidding. It's not on there anymore. Yep. Did I just run out?
I think you're done, huh?
Well, give me some of the other ones.
All right. So I'm just going to go in order from biggest to smallest. After Instagram. So, again, it's Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, WeChat, Instagram.
Yeah.
807 million users. QQ.
Oh, I don't know QQ.
QQ is the instant messaging service that is run by Tencent.
Okay.
Which is do you know Tencent?
Sure, yeah.
The global conglomerate of every Chinese everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's QQ. There's also QZone, which is, again, another Tencent. If it starts with Q, it's probably Tencent. It is sort of I'm not going to pretend I know a whole lot about it. It grew. It kind of reached its zenith in 2014, so it's a little older. But they sort of do blogs, diaries. It sort of, honestly, looks like a lot like the Chinese MySpace.
Okay.
So you could watch videos, listen to music, set your background. It does seem to be very much a Chinese MySpace. But I think, and it started back in 2005. So I guess it's still kicking, but it's probably on the way out. TikTok, obviously. I'm going to pronounce this wrong, and I apologize. Sina Weibo, which is Chinese Twitter.
Okay.
462 million. Owned by Weibo. So, yeah, they got started way back in 2009 on the Twitter. Reddit.
Oh, I didn't think I read it.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Daoban,
Mm-hmm.
Daoban, which I don't know, but they're I don't really know what they do. What do they do?
I don't know.
Recommends it looks like Chinese Reddit.
Okay.
In some form or fashion. You kind of create content about books, films, recent events in Chinese cities.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
Baidu,
Mm-hmm.
Teba,
Mm-hmm.
which is something like a forum or bars for people to interact that has to do with the search engine.
Mm-hmm.
Not really sure how that works. Skype.
Skype?
Yeah, Skype.
Okay. I don't think of that as social media, but okay.
It's not social media, social networking.
Oh.
And so in theory,
Yeah.
you can have like multiple people all doing something. Snapchat,
No,
Viber.
Forgot Snapchat.
Viber is just a WhatsApp clone. Pinterest,
Okay.
Discord, which
Yeah.
is growing quickly. Line, which is another WhatsApp knockoff. It's even green, like WhatsApp. It's the same green. And then Telegram, which is sort of a,
Sure.
I don't know what to say. It's another messaging clone. So I'm very impressed.
Oh, come on. You underestimate me.
That was good.
What, do you think I don't know about social networking?
It's not. I wouldn't say that you didn't know, but the fact that you went pretty deep there. That's
You
good.
underestimate me, definitely.
Well, I
All
mean,
right.
you're not. It's not like you're on.
I'm not on all of these.
Yeah, like you're. Yeah.
So. But let's talk about the future. No, really. Like, where are we headed with this?
So, one thing that
You have ideas on this?
yeah. So one thing that you should and I I'm not gonna get too far into the weeds in this. I don't know what to say. There's like a whole. What's the word? There is a whole thing about it's not even ethics, but there's a whole rabbit hole about it's called man, now I can't remember the name. This is terrible. It's the thing where it's something capitalism, where it's like social networking capitalism.
Oh, I've never heard of that. You're typing.
Yeah, surveillance capitalism.
Surveillance capitalism. What does
Yes.
that mean?
I can't. Sorry, I couldn't. Sorry, everyone, for that terrible, awkward airtime. I couldn't come. You don't know what surveillance capitalism?
No, I don't. I'm not sure what that is referring to.
Okay, so
I've not heard that term.
Oh,
I might know what
okay.
it
So
is
I gotta
about,
do this
but
quick
I don't
then.
know the term.
I
Okay,
gotta do
go
this
ahead.
quick then. So in 2014, social psychologist Shoshana Zuboff popularized the term. And so basically, the theory goes is that this is a novel market form and a different way of capitalist accumulation.
Okay, what is it?
So, yeah, okay. So, I wanna get, I wanna make sure. This is from the author, herself. I think it's a woman. I define surveillance capitalism as the unilateral claiming of private human experience as free raw material for translation into behavioral data. So think of what we used to think as like traditional capitalism, which is like oil, right? Or like mineral rights. You buy the forest for the timber, or you buy the land to harvest, to mine the ore.
Okay.
And that's the resource. And then you have that product that you've mined, and then you sell it, right?
Okay.
Maybe you turn it into, gold bricks or something, or you smelt it, or you're turning it into steel. Like you may be doing a value add, but at the end you're taking sort of capital at its core is you're taking a raw resource and you're packaging it and then selling it as sort of a product.
Okay.
And so surveillance capitalism is the idea that there's all this, what she calls the private human experience. I would just call it human experience. Private is maybe that's a little more politically charged. But you're taking human experience and human, I would maybe add human attention. And that's free raw material.
Yeah.
And what Facebook does is they translate that raw material of human experience that they have captured into behavioral data.
Right.
I continue to quote from her. Quote, these data are then computed and packaged as prediction products.
Right.
And sold into behavioral futures markets. Yep. Business customers with a commercial interest in knowing what we will do now, soon, and later. It was Google that first learned how to capture surplus behavioral data, more than they needed for services, and used it to compute prediction products that they could sell to their business customers, in this case, advertisers. But surveillance capitalism is no longer, basically it's not restricted to that initial context. So it goes on for a while. So does that sort of make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're you're using your surveillance of people. That's why it's called surveillance capitalism. As a free resource that's making companies, specifically Google and Facebook, insanely wealthy.
So, yeah, I mean, there are some people that have claimed that, some of these social media, I guess most of these social networking sites that we were talking about are, quote, free. I don't know that they all are. Maybe they all are. But there are some people that have said that we should be getting paid because we're providing this data.
Right. Which is silly because that's not how capitalism
But it
works.
does point out the fact that we are providing data. Because I think it's really easy. So people use social networking to be social, to connect with other people, because we love doing that. And that's built into our psychology and our biology. And we don't think of it. I mean, when someone goes on, follows someone on Instagram or spends some time on Facebook or anything else, they don't go on saying to themselves, "Oh, now I'll add to the surveillance capitalism." It
is. I think the veil. Even me, someone who is as plugged in as I am, I think the veil was lifted from my eyes.
Yeah.
Somewhat recently, in the last, I don't know, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden I went, oh, I see what's going on. Because all these companies, the reason that their privacy policies are so terrible is it's not like, I think people get in their heads that, oh yeah, they're mining our data, but like
they're going to show me some ads.
Yeah, and they're going to make some money from it. And I don't think that people realize that the only way these companies can exist is through this process. And it's so, because without the data, yeah, sure, they can't sell predictive advertising, but they also, none of their AI models work. Yeah. All of the AI and the speech recognition and the context and the learning and all that stuff, it needs much data.
Lots of data.
And it's, so, we are all providing the free data sets to these large companies to then create their AI models. And so it's not Facebook can do a better job, respecting privacy, turning off access to developers, all that kind of stuff they're saying they're going to do. But they
does
they
that
can't
mess
turn
with the basic.
They cannot turn their data pipe off.
Yeah, so doing that stuff doesn't turn the data pipe off.
Yeah, basically it would be the equivalent of Exxon figuring out how to make oil from algae or something, right? They'd have to completely change their business model because their raw input, the resource that they use is data, and so they need data.
Well, this is okay. I mean, I'm not sure where you were hoping this conversation would go, but if we could just pause for a minute, because I think this is it's really a different mental model to me, because I don't know. It reminds me of, so when you buy a car, you think you're buying a car, right? And you are buying a car, and you think the transaction is about the car, and the dealer's going to make some money from you buying the car. But in actuality, the dealer's making money from other things, like if you finance the car with the dealership. There are some companies that we think of as being companies that do one thing, like sell cars, but in reality, most of their money comes from something else, like servicing loans. So this reminds me kind of that, but on a more hidden level. Because these companies will say that they're all about, I mean, at least they say to you, or they say to the world. I mean, you and I have been at conferences where some of these companies talk about their mission. And their mission is, to change the world through connecting people together, right? And it's like, that's not what their mission is. So it seems to me, I don't know.
So this is also,
they're not very upfront about this. Join our social network so that because we need a lot of data for our algorithms. I don't hear them saying that. Is that a problem? I mean, maybe you don't want to veer into that conversation because you wanted to talk about the future of social networks, but you brought this up.
So no, and only because I just assumed you knew about it. So
yes, I did.
So what's funny is, they say like, we're here to make the world a better place, blah blah blah, and right. I truly think, honestly, in their hearts of hearts, that they really do believe that.
Everyone at that company, or the higher ups?
No, most of the higher ups. I think most of the higher ups truly do believe, like, we got to make money so we can make a good product. And there's a great Bill Simmons interview with the head of Instagram, who used to be in charge for like 5 years during all the scandal of the Facebook news feed.
Yeah.
So he's, old, high-level guy from Facebook. And I really do think he thinks that, we're making money, but like we're trying to connect the world and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But but if you ask, so that's what they'd say on the customer side. On the corporate side, of course, they're here to maximize shareholder value. But what was really interesting is in August of 2019, 200 chief executives from some of the largest companies in the world, including Apple, GM, Walmart, BlackRock, blah, 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 recently updated their statement on the purpose of a corporation. So it used to be just to maximize shareholder value.
Yeah.
And so now, again, this is Accenture, Aflac.
Yeah, no, I remember when
Alliant,
this happened. Mm-hmm.
Anthem, AT&T. There's a who's who on here. BP. I'm looking at Facebook's on here. They are not on here. Those no Zuckerberg. IBM is. I don't think. Is Twitter on here? Target. No. Anyways, it's a lot, and so it says. I'll just read this, and you can scoff if you want to scoff. But I'm giving them their due. America's economic model, which is based on freedom, liberty, and other enduring principles of our democracy, has raised standard of living for generations, promoting competition, consumer choice, innovation. America's businesses have been a critical engine to its success. Yet we know many Americans are struggling. Too often hard work is not rewarded, and not enough being done for workers to adjust to the rapid pace of change in the economy. If companies fail to recognize that the success of our system is dependent on inclusive long-term growth, many will raise legitimate questions about the role of employers in our society. With these concerns in mind, Business Roundtable is modernizing its principles on the role of corporation. Since 1978, Business Roundtable has periodically issued principles of corporate governance that include language on the purpose of a corporation. Each version of that document, issued since 1997, has stated that corporations exist principally to serve their shareholders, period. It has become clear that this language on corporate purpose does not accurately describe the ways in which we and our fellow CEOs endeavor to every day to create value for our stakeholders, whose long-term interests are inseparable. We therefore provide the following statement of purpose of a corporation, which subsedes previous roundtable statements and more accurately reflects our commitment to a free market economy that serves all Americans. This statement represents only one element of Business Roundtable's work to ensure more inclusive prosperity, and we're continuing to challenge ourselves to do more. Just as we are continuing to doing our part as corporate CEOs, we call on others to do their part as well. We urge leading investors to support companies that build long-term value by investing in their employees and communities. So here's the statement of purpose. Americans deserve an economy that allows each person to succeed, hard work, creativity, life, meaning dignity, free market system, good job, sustainable economy, blah, 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 healthy environment, economic opportunity for all. Businesses play a vital role in the economy of creating jobs. Businesses, they sell consumer products, equipment, vehicles, support the national defense, grow and produce food. This is just like oh my God. Generate and deliver energy and offer financial, communications, and other services that underpin economic growth. While each of our individual companies serves its own corporate purpose, we share a fundamental commitment to all stakeholders. We commit to, here's what it is. Delivering value to our customers. We will further the tradition of American companies leading the way in meeting or exceeding consumer expectations. Investing in our employees. This starts with compensating them fairly and providing important benefits. It also includes supporting them through training and education that helps develop new skills for a rapidly changing world. We foster diversity and inclusion, dignity, and respect. Dealing fairly and ethically with our suppliers. We are dedicated to serving as good partners to the other companies, large and small, that help us meet our missions. Supporting the communities in which we work. We respect the people in our communities and protect the environment by embracing sustainable practices across our businesses. Generating long-term value for shareholders, who provide the capital that allows companies to invest, grow, and innovate. We are committed to transparency and effective engagement with shareholders. Each of our stakeholders is essential. We commit to deliver value to all of them for future success of our companies, our communities, and our country. So this was signed by like a bunch of CEOs.
Yeah.
This is complete garbage.
Oh, come
I don't
on.
believe any of this.
Come on. You're being harsh.
Ooh. Hey, we work with a lot of companies, including companies on this list.
Yes, we do. Well, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
They're all monopolies.
I know, but they have to say these things if they want to hire any workers. That's why they're doing it. But at the time that came out, I thought it was significant. Just to
anytime the CEOs of 200 large American companies sign, if they signed a thing that said bagels were delicious, like that would be a big deal.
But to me, it was a big deal because it did. Whether they sincerely mean it or not, just the fact that they were willing to publicly say
that there is pressure.
Yes.
They are feeling pressure, either from internally from their workers or externally from the communities.
Yes.
I think they see the very strong, millennials and the generation underneath grew up in the time of the internet where they have basically been exploited for their data the entire time. They've grown up in an age of extreme corporate consolidation and extreme monopolistic behavior, as well as extreme levels of inequality, at least insofar as the American experience is concerned. Inequality is about as high now as it was back in sort of the 20s, which was the traditional heyday of sort of inequality in America. So there is a lot of, we'll just say, anti-corporate headwinds going on.
Yeah.
And they're
reacting.
They're reacting. I mean, there's a reason that socialism amongst, people under the age of 35 is more popular than capitalism.
Okay, now I have to say we have veered off uncomfortably for me.
Yeah, okay.
Into political discourse.
Yeah, you're right.
So bring this back to the future of social networking.
So social networking at its core then relies on people using it. The strength of every social network for all time really only exists if people use it. And if people don't use it, it very, very quickly falls apart. It also has there's probably a real name for it, but it's basically the everyone else is using it effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where if
social
40%
social validation
of people in your community are using it, that means that like 90% of people in your community will eventually use it.
Yeah.
But if it was 50 and it falls to 35, it's going to fall to 0.
Right.
Right, a la MySpace or any of the other dead ones.
Right.
And so it requires, one, people not switching to a competitor, which is really hard to do. There have been a lot of companies who have tried to dethrone Facebook as the global address book of choice.
Yeah.
And they have all failed because everyone is on Facebook. It's become sort of a universal whatever. But it requires that people play the game. And unlike oil in the ground, which doesn't have opinions or thoughts and cannot move, people do. And there have been some really strong headwinds against a company like Facebook.
Yeah.
Though in some ways Facebook is doing better than ever. They're facing strong competition for the first time from Chinese companies.
What do you think about the fact that, I personally know, and maybe this is just anecdotal, and maybe it's not enough of a trend to swing anything, but I personally know lots of people who, first of all, I know people who have canceled their Facebook account or actually try and delete it. It's like not easy. And I've known definitely know a lot, even more people who, haven't canceled an account or deleted anything, but they just don't, whereas they used to go on 2-3 times a day, now they go on once a week.
Yeah. Or even if they go on, they're not using it as their main. When I was growing up, I grew up in the heyday of Facebook when you basically were required to be a college student
Yeah.
And then later a high school student.
Yeah.
Before it was really open to the general public. And then shortly thereafter, right after it was open to the general public, it was basically college people and their friends. And, before any of the, old people were on it. And it was really amazing. I don't know if that will ever happen again, but the people really did truly share their lives in sort of an unfiltered way.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy. And you could message on anyone's stuff. And like, I remember being at parties, and every party you would go to, you'd leave with like 6 or 7 new Facebook friends. Like it just was a magical time. And that's probably all gone. But the amount of content that they were getting, that was being generated, especially original content, is probably very dried up, because a lot of those people have turned to other networking platforms to do that. Now, a lot of them have turned to Instagram,
which they own.
So
it wasn't that bad. Yeah.
But I think they're starting to. I think other companies are starting to try to get in on this, and if there is a reasonable alternative to any of these big corporate sites that people feel like is better.
So is there an alternative to big corporate social networking sites, and what do you see as the future?
So the thing is, you'd have to have... The problem is, there have been open source social media sites that have happened in the past, and I have joined them. But they never had any scale. They never had... they never got off the ground.
Now, so these are not corporate. And is the assumption then that they have to have a different model because they're not going to be able to stay around based on the fact that they're making money on the data? Or are they still going to make money on the data?
So like if you're not harvesting the data, maybe you can sell some ads.
Right.
Maybe. But if you're truly trying to do the we're better than Facebook nonprofit thing, well, then you can't sell ads, so you'd need some sort of subscription service.
Right.
And things are getting complicated.
So what's going to happen?
So there's a couple things. There are a couple interesting ideas. I think we might have talked about this in a previous episode. Well, I'll get to that later. There's a crypto one where basically if you make a post that's popular, you get paid in cryptocurrency. So they're paying you for your attention. I keep wanting to say Stadia, but that's Google's gaming service.
Yeah. The sound of Guthrie typing.
Click, 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 click.
That's all right. You got it?
Steam it.
Steam it?
STEEMIT.
Okay.
It runs on its own Steam blockchain.
Okay.
And so publishers get paid for their content.
Is that popular yet?
No.
Oh, okay. It sounds like a good idea.
It was founded by one of the big who's in the crypto world, but not
the guy who got arrested.
Yeah, what you'd need is if there was a company that was one of the most popular websites on earth, so they had the outreach already. Was well trusted,
right?
That could make a non-profit social network. That's basically what it would take to perhaps.
So you don't think the future is a non-profit social network?
Oh, if only there was a company. So, but my point is, there is.
There is? Oh, so you do think there's a place for a non-profit social network?
The third most popular website in the world is Wikipedia, after Google and YouTube. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
In terms of number of people using it or something? Or number of uses?
Page views, yeah.
Page views. Okay, so Wikipedia is going to turn into a social networking site?
They already have.
Turned into one?
Well, so
Wikipedia
is part of Wikimedia, which is a broader whole. It does a whole bunch of things.
I know, but nobody knows. But
no one knows. Yeah,
no one knows
most
much
likely
about
for
that.
Wikipedia.
They just know it as Wikipedia.
The founder of Wikipedia.
Who is the founder of Wikipedia?
The guy. Oh my God! I am Wikipediaing Wikipedia on its own Wikipedia. It's like a. It's like it's wiki inception
in cursive or something. Yeah.
That's it. Jimmy Wales and Larry Sanger.
Okay.
And Jimmy Wales has now founded this thing called WT Social, which used to stand for Wikipedia Tribune. .social. Okay. So he sort of started a news network. So this is a separate company that is that is completely separate and independent from Wikipedia.
Okay.
But obviously, by putting wiki in the name and it being Jimmy Wales, like the fact that it technically is independent, I don't think people are going to,
There's a connection.
Yeah.
At least.
It lends Wikipedia's
philosophically.
Philosophy, and it lends their
so what
cachet.
And this exists. So this is like a social networking site?
It is. I'll read from their website.
Okay.
WT.social is the website address.
Okay.
We launched Wiki Tribune as a unique wiki-based news platform. Our community did an amazing job collaborating around news, sharing facts, and promoting a new collaborative approach to generating high-quality journalism. Now we're taking it a step further. Wiki Tribune becomes a social network for people like you who still have faith in the truth. We are here to create better connections and develop productive discussions around everything that is happening in the world and is important to us. As social networks have grown, they've also amplified the voices of bad actors across the globe. We want to be different. We will never sell your data. Our platform survives on the generosity of individual donors to ensure privacy is protected and your social space is ad-free. Wiki Tribune can only be successful if our community will continue to grow. Sign up, support us, and invite your friends. Spread the word. We want you to take part in our revolution.
How long has this been going on?
So, that is a excellent.
How long has this been going on? Oh, sorry. I broke into song.
Breaking into song.
It's Friday the 13th. Yeah, how long has this been going on? So is that how many people are on this thing?
Okay.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, so it launched in November of 2019.
Oh, just last month.
Yes.
From when we're recording this. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, now I don't feel so bad that I didn't hear about it.
Yeah, and so as of they're doing so one of the interesting things that was super so fascinating. They did what's called a silent launch.
Okay. They didn't tell anybody.
They didn't tell anyone besides people obviously like in the immediate community. Like it's not on Wikipedia. There weren't news. He didn't do like the going on all the podcasts telling people about
going on the news
just
programs.
Sort of made it live.
He just okay.
And some of that was smart because like they need to handle the traffic. So when it launched on November 7th, it had 25,000 members.
Okay.
The next week, it had 50,000. The next week, it had 280,000. And by December, we're recording this on December 13th. And by December 3rd, it had 400,000. So I don't even know where it is anymore.
So
now that is
what
still so far away from.
What's it like? Are you on? Are you on it?
Yeah, I signed up and I got approved. And
you have to get approved?
No, you don't get approved. It's just you're in a queue because they can only activate so many accounts at a time. So
as when people listen to this, the application rate's going to soar to 5 million.
It took less than a day. I signed up and then a couple hours later, I was like, all right, you're ready to go.
All right, can I sign up?
Of course you can.
Should I do it right now?
Sure. It is a combination of, I would say, Google News and Reddit with Wikipedia's simple and kind of ugly.
But is there a networking part where you're connecting with other people?
So there are.
Or is it more just news?
There is. So I have my suspicions, which is they're starting with news and they will eventually.
I mean, do you have your own page where you can do your own posting of things like Facebook?
So I'm looking at the main page.
All right, I'm going to go right now and try.
There is
I'm going to
much like Facebook, right at the top.
Wait a minute, you said wt.social?
Yeah. So
all right.
Right at the top, right? You can either post a link or you can write something. It's got a headline. It's got a blank text box.
Do people follow you?
I have my own page, so I think so. I think you can add a new subwiki, which is like, so for example, subwikis I am following. I'm following the Dank Memes subwiki.
Well, I don't need to know which subwikis you're following, but all right, so I'm signing up right now. Can you hear me typing here?
The best memes are the ones you share with your friends. And so it's so I would Oh, they got me. So honestly, I think the most apt comparison right now is Reddit, but with a news feed just like Facebook.
Used to have.
Whatever. Just like, right, when you go to Facebook, you have like the news feed.
You get a feed, yeah.
You get a feed, right? And I think it's like that, where you can see, so like, for example, it says like, on my main page, it says, understanding our political world. And it was updated 26 minutes ago by Paul Kogan, who I can talk to if I want. I can see his profile, and people can write, hi, how are you? Blah blah blah. So they're relying on is in some ways, this is like a terrible idea, right? Because people in these new areas tends to be a lot of mean things said, bullying, insults, all the kind of normal stuff. But that's what everyone said about Wikipedia. And Wikipedia it's like the first time in history, they managed to figure out how to self-police in a way that was effective and sort of make Wikipedia the accurate, friendly sort of platform it is today. And so the whole point is that they're going to try and make a culture on here that is friendly and not sort of degrading. And so if people say mean things or insult or start yelling at each other, everyone just reports them and then their stuff gets deleted. Much like Wikipedia. Like Wikipedia, you can't just like go in and like write whatever you want, much though people think that. You can, and then if it's not accurate or if it's not editorialized correctly, like it'll just get removed. So I just signed up, and it says I'm number 1 on the waiting list. Oh, I was 18.
What? So
what's your
handle?
Yeah.
I don't know. How do I find that out?
Well, it's usually just your name. I found you.
You found me?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the talk button.
Oh, really?
And I'm gonna.
What happens?
Write something. Individual test. Hello, test.
Oh, let's see. I see it. Well, I'm on a new social network, everyone. You heard it right here. I joined WT Social. All right, so and it says there are 419,482 members right now. So if I was number 1, does that mean I'm in or not in?
No, that's obviously if you can see it, you're in.
Oh, so they put me in. I didn't have to wait. So that's because they knew I was special. They saw me apply, and I said, well, let's move her to the top of the list. All right, so just for fun, can we do something just for fun?
Mm-hmm.
Your quote handle.
I'll add you as a friend.
Can you do that?
It says your stats. I'd like to do that.
So, just for fun, Guthrie, I'm on WT Social as Susan Weinschenk.
Yes.
You're on as Guthrie Miles. Is that true?
Mm.
2 words, Guthrie, Guthrie, and then Miles, Milas. All right, so I would say, for fun, why don't we see if anyone is interested in this that is listening? Why don't you sign up and then do a talk to us, and we'll see if anybody does. We'll see if anybody is even listening to our podcast episodes, and if they are, then they'll sign on this. So, Guthrie, tell me what. So, you think? Are you saying you think this is one possible future of social networking, that there will be these alternative networks that are not selling your data?
There seems to be market pressures to do something. That the current status quo of, hey, you're just making all this money off me for free and not even providing a good service. Why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be a final, like, it's hit a wall, and it's maybe with a small subset of users. I'm not saying that there's mass, like, if you read some of the articles, it sounds like there's like mass exodus or hysteria, or I don't think it's anything like that. But a big enough, group of people who are disgruntled that are sort of forcing change. And I guess it's a good thing, probably. It's like but I don't, so social networks are always going to be around. I don't think that Genie can ever go back in the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say?
Yeah, no, well, social networks, whether tech-based or not, are always around. We are very social. Mm-hmm. And I haven't really done any kind of study about, the history of social networks, non-tech, just, like the long-term human history. But basically, I'm going to say that anytime we've figured out a way to connect with each other in a better way than we were doing before, it hasn't gone away. And it probably won't, because we like to connect with each other. So although certain instances, like MySpace, are going to disappear, the idea that we connect using the internet or using a computer, or using a smartphone, or using video, I mean, we'll just move on to what is perceived as the faster, better way to connect. But we love to connect. That's never going away, in my opinion. I mean, we'd have to it would be radical if all of a sudden no one wanted to connect anymore using technology. That would mean there was a huge shift in, society. We like to connect.
So the question is, where are we going to connect? And we thought, the world thought, well, MySpace will be around forever. Like, they were the first ones. They're better. Like, there's no universe in which MySpace will ever die. And then Facebook showed up and was like, hey, we're just gonna shut you down.
I don't know that any of these are going to stay forever. And I think there'll be a whole, when we get, I would think as we get more and more technology, for instance, when it became possible to from a bandwidth perspective and from a equipment perspective to make your own video and upload it, right? Which we now just take for granted with YouTube. But there was a time when it was a big deal. It was hard to upload video. It was, it took a really long time and so on, if you even knew how to make your own video. And now, of course, right, that's not hard at all. It's very easy to do. So I think there was a time when we didn't imagine YouTube would be what it is, and then it was. And I think as when we get to the point where you can do a hologram of yourself or do something easily with virtual reality or augmented reality on your own, I think we'll use whatever technology there is, we will use in a social way. That's period. So I'm sure it's going to change and evolve, and then we might get to the point where the idea of a Facebook or a YouTube seems quaint and outdated. That's not, that won't be the way people communicate and network with each other, but there'll always be something. Right.
Yeah. So, I hopefully people found this sort of interesting.
Well, I found it sort of interesting, and now I have a new social network, and we'll see where it goes. See if I come to like it or come to not like it.
Oh, and I forgot the other social network that we haven't even talked to, which is like Microsoft Teams, like the corporate internal social networking.
Yeah, well, that's
becoming very, thank you Slack, and now Teams, the copycat.
Yeah, very big deal. So maybe we can do a part B. Why don't we do a part B
on
work networking? Let's do that. We'll do that. Maybe that'll be our next podcast.
Do you think that people who work in open, what's it called? Open concept office space?
Oh, well, I posted
Do you think that they use Slack and Teams more?
Yes.
To communicate?
I know they do. The research shows that. Don't they?
I'm sure they do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the research.
Yeah, because they actually are craving privacy. So let's take up the social networking in the office on our next episode, or an episode soon. I think that would be fun. So thanks, Guthrie, and I'm curious to see. We'll see if anyone starts following us on WT Social.
All right, wonderful.
And WT Social is not paying us
to the behavioral science.
At WT Social, there's a behavioral science.
Yes, 5 whole posts, 358 members.
Oh well, I'm gonna go check that out too. Guthrie, thanks so much. If people want to get hold of us, what should they do?
Info at theteamw.com is the email address.
And if you like our podcast, tell others about it. Ask them to subscribe. And we are always open to your feedback. And love to hear if you have any ideas about topics. So thanks a lot. Bye, Guthrie.
Bye.